Hello and welcome to how I play my level 70 Shadowknight. So let's jump right in here. So if you have not watched the level 50, the level 55, 60, 65 videos, this video and all the following videos will build upon what we talked about in those, like the extended target and how all that stuff works. So, but for the most part, this is mostly a slight change in spells and incremental things that we've done so far. So should be easy to follow. So we're going to go over spells first. My first spell I'm running is a Spear of Miram. So this hurls a Spear of Decay at your target, doing 936 damage, or 63 damage. Now, this is a pretty good spell. It's near instant cast. Like, if we cast it, so you barely even see the spell bar. Right, and it does, slightly more based on your gear. But then next up, I have a Terror of Discord, which is a instantaneous jolt aggro spell. So I just, click, boom, instant 100% hate, right? It's a great spell. You could run multiple terror spells if you wanted to, but I'm going for more life taps in the way I'm doing it, because I do have a shaman for a healer, and a shaman at this level just does not have the throughput to do cutting edge content. I mean yellow and red mobs. Blue mobs, you don't even need to heal, but yellow and red, you're getting hit for, I logged out. You're getting hit for 1,000 plus, and normal rounds and stuff like that. So it's no joke at this point. Next up, I have Enruku's Bite. Now, this one is interesting because it is a life tap, but is also mana tap, and it gives mana back to the group. So I have this one going. It's a fairly quick cast, but it has a 60-second recast, so it multi-binds really well. Do I have it bound on here twice? I do. I just changed up some spells. This one needs to go here, I think. So let me check here. Dagon, Devour. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I was just changing some spells around just a second ago. But this one, it gives a little extra mana to everybody in the group. It works. I don't think it's too much to write home about, but it's better than nothing. And then next up, I have 3 direct damage life taps. Now, they are... this is the order of them, right? So Devour is our strongest one, does 740. Now, Touch of Dragon... it does 750, but gives us a little bit of hit points on top of it, so it's pretty nice. And then there is Touch of Enruku, which does 610. So they're all in the they all have unique timers, so you can cast them all, right? Like, click 1, 2, and 3. So if I cast all 3 of those spells, I'm getting almost 1,000 back. Now, that's before any modifications, like that one crit for 2,000. So that's a lot of health back that I don't need to be healed for. So it's kind of the way I'm playing this guy now, is I'm pulling into the whole life tap kind of play style, the leech tank, if you will. Mostly because my shaman just cannot heal fast enough to keep me alive. Now, a cleric would have no problem. Cleric could just sit there and do nothing all day and still heal better than a shaman. But at this level, that's just to be expected. Now, they're all pretty good. Now, they are very high mana usage, right? You can see here for, let's say 390, 331, 340. We only have 15,000 mana right now, so that goes pretty quick. I do have to take med breaks specifically for this character, but I think it's worth it to be able to push yellow and red content with them, so it's kind of a trade-off. I can fight blue stuff all day long and never lose mana, or I can fight red and yellow stuff and actually feel challenged. So, it's a little bit of a trade-off there. Next, I have Dread Gaze, which is our first AoE taunt. So 30 mobs will be AoE taunted onto me. Same as the Jolt, you see it hits everything in this radius and all of those combat dummies I have right there. So it's pretty nice. It's a situational. I don't have it in my multi-bind or anything like that, but it's one of those, if I'm fighting a mob, I get an ad on another character, I don't want to switch targets, I can hit that and pull it onto me, so works out pretty good. And then Shroud of Discord is just our current level Shroud, which imbues our attacks with the ability to life tap. So we get a life tap proc. I'll just swing at this guy here for a second. It should proc. And it's, a pretty nice little spell. There you go. No, that's the sword. The sword, but it gives us the chance to life tap our melee hits. Now it is what it is. It helps. It doesn't help. It's just extra damage, right? It hasn't procced yet at all, so you can see how much it procs and doesn't proc. But I do have it on, right? Yeah. Shroud of Discord right there. Yeah, it's on. There we go. 402 damage from that, from a non-critical. So not too bad. And that, that's another life tap that is healing me that I don't have to heal with a shaman. And then finally we have Decrepit Skin, which allows us to absorb some attacks that gets hit to us. This is kind of the I think it eventually becomes a Steely Stance, that kind of line of stuff, but I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember everything there, but it's a 7-minute spell, 40 charges, right? So I get hit 40 times, I need to recast it, or 7 minutes, whatever comes first. Definitely feels like it takes some damage off, what we're getting hit for. Obviously, I can't get I can't get any combat stuff here. We could probably go fight some more, but just watch the previous and then watch the next series video for the Hobbs and Friends series, and you'll see it in action. That's why I don't do the combat during these, because it would just make these extremely long, and there is combat in the previous and the next video, so just how it is. That is all the spells that I use all the time. Now we have situational spells. So we do have a pet, Son of Decay. This is a Son of Decay. It's a light blue. I think this is our first pet that is not a necromancer pet. So it's, at least I think anyway, that might be a necromancer pet. But we have a theme of decay for all our level 60 to or 65 to 70 spells. So I think it's unique. It's level 60 pet. Let's bring him back here, see what he hits for. So he's hitting for 124 critical, 103 critical, 53. He's hitting for fairly decent amounts of damage. He has no buffs except for our self buff, which is Rune of Decay, which is another one that just increases his haste and stats, just any other standard one. So there we're getting some 65s. So it's a decent amount of damage that we can add. We do have what's it called? Companion's Discipline. I believe that's the name of it. Right here, which gives us pet hold and greater hold, so I can greater hold him, and I don't have to deal with him doing dumb things. Like if I get hit while pulling, he's not going to run off and cause the mob to eventually summon me, because he is fighting it. So it's just a nice little bonus of having him around, right? So it's pretty nice to have damage-wise. Now, you just buff him through that. He is now a target of all the group buffs, right? So if I go over to like my Bard and I make her sing, right, he will pick up all the songs eventually as soon as they start. Oh, you're sitting. There you go. How you do it. He will pick up all the songs, right? So he's getting all the benefits of the group. So that makes him even stronger because he will get the HP buffs from focus. He'll get the cleric mercenary buffs. He'll get all that extra goodies that a normal player gets, and it just plays to the pet. He also will synergize eventually with the mages in their of the many line of spells, having an extra pet attacking the target will increase the damage and whatnot. So it's just an all around nice thing to have. And then finally, next we have Cloak of Discord, which is our self buff, I guess would be what it would be called. Covers us in a protective cloak for like 2 hours, increases our hit points, armor class, and gives us a damage shield. Now, looks like my damage shield is 35 now, so it's not a huge damage shield, but it is something because that stacks with some other things that we have damage shield wise as a class. So it's worth having. I haven't found anything it doesn't stack with. So it stacks with focus, it stacks with ageism, it stacks with Beast Lord. So I'm not sure if there's like something I just don't know about yet that it doesn't stack with, but it's very nice to have up at all times. And then finally we have our Lich spell, Pact of Decay, which is what turns me into a skeleton and converts my health into mana. Now, at this point, it's not doing enough health drain to even cause me any notice at all. But I do have 112 mana regen and 150 health regen, so that's my standing stats as an ogre. Ixar would have slightly more health regen, but I don't think it really matters too much. When I get to 85, I'll compare him to my 85 Ixar Shadowknight and see if there's a difference, but I don't think there will be. At least anything significant, But that is like all the spells that I cast, like, at all, right? We used to have Voice of Thule on our bar over here. It is now an AA, so we just Voice of Thule AA. More convenient. I just haven't macroed it yet to target me and auto cast it. We also got Harm Shield as an AA now, so this will make us invulnerable. Maybe in those videos when I'm dying to mobs, I just pop that and let the pets figure it out for a few minutes while I get recover. But yeah, we also used to have Snare on the bar. It has been replaced by the AA Snare. I don't need like the 20 damage or whatever the hell it was per tick. This is fine. It's a what is this? 2-minute snare for 65%. So it's just a nice little spell to have. Casts pretty quick and don't have to waste a spell slot on it. So all right, let's go into my bars and we'll talk about how I have this multi-bound down here now. So first up, same hide corpse macro we've always had. That just hides all the NPC corpses so I don't have to lag, and all my characters have that button in the same spot, so when I push 1 on IS Boxer, every single character it pushes 1 for the most part. So snares on 3 still, and it's just the AA. The multi-bind is still the same. Attack on, pet attack, pet swarm, and then we have a set other. I did remove J boots. Don't need it anymore. We get our natural AA run speed is faster. Plus, I always have the bard playing cellos, accelerating chorus. So I'm always running fast. Then we have our mount here at the end where it's always been. Then over here we have terror. I use numpad 1 to pull. So when I'm running around, I hit numpad 1. That's just my pull button. I think we used to have Feign Death. I can't remember if it was 65 video or not. Feign Death has been replaced with Death Peace AA, so now we have it in AA. We don't have to waste a spell slot on it. It's fairly good. I mean, it's like, see, we can recast it like instantly. For the most part, it's not instant. So like, I've had a few situations where I had to deal with that, but It is not instant, but it does work really well. So it's good to have, less spells and more AAs. I feel like that's a better way to go anyway. At least for me. And then this next bar, I just have the Dreadgaze AoE Taunt just down there so I can click it. I don't, I should probably put it like right here so I can click it up there without having to go over here, but it is what it is. We also got Cloak of Shadows AA, which is instacast Gather Shadows. Kind of like the Circuit of Shadow from like early Kunark before it got nerfed. Instacast Invis, we can run and cast it, and we're Invis. It's standard invisibility. So it is. It does have some limitations there, where things can see through standard invisibility, where they cannot see through improved invisibility. And it does have I think a random duration. It says 15 minutes, but it can wear off at any time. Whereas the rank 2 of this AA will give it a fixed duration, I believe. And the rest of this bar is just clicky teleporters to the various locations. Guildhall, North Row, Tower thing, and then all that other stuff. Nothing on that row. And then my multibind, right? So every time I hit 4 or 5, my keys are bound. So if we look at this, right, inside the game, you can bind a hot button to anything you want. You can also bind the hot button to the same thing. And there is an alternate you can bind. So based on that and how the game is designed, that we set up multi-bind. This is not, I did not come up with this. This is not an original idea to me. This is just something that someone came up with. I don't know who. If you know who, let me know. But they came up with it. And it allows you to push one button to do multiple things. So if we just come over here to this guy and I hit 4. I hit it once. So you see taunt triggered and terror triggered. If I hit it again, bite triggers. If I hit it again, we get terror again. If we hit it again, we get touch. If we hit it again, if I start hitting it faster, touch and devour, and then we should get to the last one there. So all 4 of the tap spells get executed pretty much in this order if I hit 4 or 5. Now if I hit 5, same thing. I just use 4 and 5 to control the other characters. So like my shaman doesn't do anything when I push 4, but he does do something when I push 5. That allows me to use like other keys to do different things. So it's kind of a basics of how multi-bind works, but it makes boxing in Everquest possible and trivial. Like otherwise you wouldn't be able to get enough actions per, let's say, minute, actions per second to really be competitive. And like, I don't know, when I alt tab without having Iceboxer on, like it's slow. So it gives you the power to push further into that. So there's that. And then I have Lesson of the Devout here, which is just an XP bonus for 30 minutes, 100%. That everybody gets on live. All right. And then I have Harm Touch, which does 17,000 damage now. And then I have Leech Touch, which drains 900 plus 2,500. I still don't know how that works, but it saved my life once, and another time I was too slow clicking it, so it is what it is. Then we have that button there for Dread Gaze, and then Harm Touch, and Voice of Thule. Now, these are Bandolier swappers here. If I hit B for Bandolier, my Bandolier is outdated, so I'm not going to hit it. But these all correspond to these 3 different Bandoliers. So if I want to switch to one hand, I click that one. If I want to switch to my 2-hander, I click that. And if I wanted to use Primal, back at, I think it was 55 when I first set this up, I switched to Primal, I proc it, and stuff like that. Now, I ran into the situation where I was buff capped pretty much from level 40 and on, since whenever I got my first self buff, I just didn't have enough buff slots to even try to use the Primal. So it was just like annoying, but it is what it is. And then I have some clickies that are probably no longer useful. Chestplate of the Fiery Might and Critical Living Thorns. This one probably still stacks and gives us a slight bit of AC and damage shield, but I don't think it's enough to write home. Then I have some clicky illusion items, and then I have a, invite all my characters button to get them all invited. Summon banker button, and then I don't even know what that was, whatever I imported it from. But yeah, that's the hotbars. Now let's talk about some disciplines. I usually don't talk about these because we haven't really had anything to talk about. Like at 51, we got resistant discipline. It's a piece of shit. We got fearless discipline at 54, piece of shit. Both timer 5, so you can't like use one and then use the other. So it makes it useless to anyone that whatever. Maybe it's useful for like the Kunark TLP, but other than that, it's not. Unholy Aura is a timer 2 discipline. We get this at 55, increases our damage of our life taps by 100%. So if I am in a situation where I don't have anything else, I will click this to kind of heal up really quick. If I remember to, it's kind of hard to like remember. So I got a lot going on, and if I do it, I do it. I don't. But it is what it is. It is very useful when you use it though. 100% extra healing from your life taps is insane. Like that can get me full life pretty quick. It's a very powerful discipline, but I'm kind of lazy, so I forget about it. And then we get some type 5s to replace these two pieces of shit ones around here, right? Icor Guard, Soul Guard, and Soul Shield. You can only use one type 5 at a time, right? So immediately that makes Fearless and a Resistant Discipline completely useless and never to be used. So at 56, you get this one. So this 25% of incoming melee damage is absorbed up until 2500. So at 56, that's a lot of damage. So you're going to go pretty far with that one. Then at 61, we get a replacement for that one, which does 25% of 6,000 or up to 6,000 damage. And then Soul Shield is 10,000. So 25% of that damage up to 10,000. So it goes a little bit far. I mean, I'm not going to say it goes very far, but it is definitely takes the chill out of the air when you're getting hit by like 4 or 5 mobs and your shaman just cannot keep up with the throughput. So it works pretty good, but it's still not where we end up later on in the game with the better disciplines for defensive. So it's like a mini defensive, if you will. And then back here at 59, we got deflection, which allows our shield to block most attacks. I use this one as much as I can when I try to remember to hit it, but it's a 12-second duration for 40-minute reuse, so it's kind of way out of the line, like when it comes to that. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think our breastplate lowers that duration. Yeah, so our let's say 75 and beyond, maybe other ones do, but they start putting this deflection discipline duration, so it adds another tick to it. So that means that will go for 18 seconds. So, but it's still a 40-minute reuse. There might be focuses that will like fix that, but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I don't think there's any focuses that actually work on that one, because these ones are all hastened right here. Oh, here it is right here. I'm dumb. So it's 10 ranks. That looks probably I'll take it down by 2, but that's at level 81. So as you can see, the deflection discipline will be used all the way to 125. So keep that in mind. Heals. See what I say. Leech Curse discipline heals you for 100% of the damage done by your melee attacks, while you're increasing your melee accuracy by 200. So Leech Curse discipline is fantastic for getting more life tap damage out. Now, you can't stack disciplines, but this is 24 seconds of all my melee damage healing me, right? So if we kind of look at what we're hitting for, we're hitting for 500s, like let's say 100 to 500 is our kind of like our range on our hits right now with a one-hander. With a two-hander, it goes up even more, right? Because you're going to hit for like almost 1,000 with a one-hander probably at this level. So, you know, that is, I mean, a two-hander at this level. So it is a very strong discipline, and you'll see that we still use this one all the way, probably to 125, because of how powerful it is. And I believe that is the same effect as the the Shadowknight Epic 2.0 gives us the same kind of life tap effect. So it's very powerful, and it's going to be used for pretty much the rest of the game. And then here we go, Soul Guard, which we already talked about these two, I believe, but Soul Shield is our current mini discipline. So I just have the three of them up here: Leech Curse, Unholy, and Soul Shield. And then I have Deflection down here. Those are the only disciplines that we have. I don't know if I talked about them in the previous videos, but this is pretty much how it's going to go forward. So these Soul Shield will be updated. We might get one more, if I can remember correctly, but for the most part, our disciplines kind of just get upgraded over time. For most of us, like you can kind of see some of these. We'll get this undivided one, and for the most part, they're all the same, same thing. So it's gonna be fun when it comes down to that. But let's see here, Decrepit Skin. Let's rebrush that. I think that is everything for the level 70. Now, I've actually spent quite a bit of time. I farmed up, I think, like 10, maybe 11 AAs while I was leveling the rest of these guys to 70 after the last video. And I spent a lot of time, you know, changing some stuff around, practicing some stuff, seeing how far I could push before I would die. And yeah, it's we're getting to that point where we're getting strong, and I think if we get the shaman to a little bit better point, we'll be even stronger. But right now it's not. It's 2 or 3 mobs will flatten me with, or 2 or 3 yellow mobs will flatten me. 2 or 3 blue mobs will not even look at me. And I'm trying to push the harder stuff. I'm going to the, like, you know, Rift Seeker Sanctum and stuff like that right now. And we're going to be going to Ashen Gate next. That's the next zone we're going to. So that's going to be like level 70 to 75 content, and that's going to be some rough stuff. I'm just going to say it right now. We are definitely under geared for that. So if you want to follow along with how I play my level 70 shaman, Shadowknight, God, I play this series, Hobbs and Friends, and you can follow along and ask questions, do requests, and let me know if there's anything I did wrong or any suggestions you have. I'm open to anything. But thank you very much for watching, and please have a fantastic day.